Hello, this is Fiona Cuthbertson coming from the podcast show. I'm talking to Josh Lincoln, who is the CEO of High Performance Podcast, about his experience so far of the podcast show. So can you tell me how you found it so far?
Hi, yeah, I've loved it. It's the third time I've come. I think for the first time I actually kind of think I know my way around and can get my bearings, but I think this is always a great event. It's great to hear. What's lovely about the podcasting industry is it's still at the stage where everyone just seems to want to share their knowledge, help each other. It's an industry that's grown incredibly quickly, but at the same time it's kind of quite immature as well in the time it's been going, so people are still working out the best way to navigate it. The path isn't really clear, and so getting to chat to people and about their challenges and how they're navigating it, it's always just a really nice event.
So, as a relatively new podcaster myself, what advice would you give to me regarding how I run my podcast?
For me, I think there are three things that make a great podcast, or that a podcast needs to have to be successful. I think one is authenticity. I think it's the beautiful thing about podcast content is it's like the democratization of content. So you can be 100% authentically you, and there is an audience out there for that, and if you pick up the audience, then fantastic, and no one else, no commissioner, no anybody else can tell you that you have to be doing it in a different way. The second, I think, is emotion. So from an entertainment point of view, if you can drive emotion, whether it's laughter, anger, happiness, sadness, whatever it might be, that's going to help sort of drive an audience. And then, bluntly, consistency. So just sticking at it. The hardest thing with the content world now is it's hard to stand out, because everyone's doing it, and so you've got to find a way to carve out your own audience, and no one can do that overnight. You've got to persistently stick at it and be really consistent so your audience know what they're going to get from you. You keep giving it to them, and then that slowly organically grows, and then that snowballs and starts to pick up pace. So they're the three things I'd say.
And if you had a particular question for your podcast interviewees, what would it be that normally gets that emotion and consistency?
Well, we start every episode with what does high performance mean to you, which is great. The questions, though, that tend to drive the most emotion are we do quick fire questions at the end, and asking questions like, what advice would you give your younger self? What's the best advice you ever had? They're the kind of questions that a lot of our guests don't normally get asked in these sorts of interviews. It gets them to really be quite reflective on their life and the things that have made them who they are today. And that's when you get that authenticity and that emotion from them, which is exactly what you need in a podcast. Absolutely,
and a lot of our interviewees on the Off the Cuff podcast are politicians and the such like, so the quick fire question sounds like a good way of getting the truth. So thank you very much, Josh. Lovely to speak to you.
No worries, thank you.